Hey everybody, and welcome to a skanky wild ride with Steve-O. We've got Big Jay Oakerson of Legion of Skanks fame. He's a legendary stand-up comedian, and if you know anything about him, you know he doesn't hold anything back. So when we start talking about the juiciest scandals in the world of stand-up comedy, you know he's serving up the juice. Plus, this guy knows so much, he could work for TMZ. I'm telling you. It's juicy as hell, and it's coming at you from the road of my bucket list tour. And on the road with me on my bucket list tour right now is my fiance, Lux. And today we walked around Alabama. Frankly, I have no idea how she was able to walk after the boning I served her last night.
It's true, baby. You really pounded me.
Yeah, and when I bone my girl, you know I've got a serious boner because I use Blue Chew tablets. What's that? It's a delicious tablet with the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis, except it costs just a fraction of the price. And man, does this company, Blue Chew, love the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast because they're ready to hook you up with an entire month's supply absolutely for free.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously.
Like an average month supply, or?
Well, a month of boning, basically. Oh. Yeah. And it's awesome. You go to bluechew.com. You don't have to even see a doctor to get the prescription because you can consult with the medical provider right there on the website. It's fast, it's easy, and if you use the promo code STEVO, like I said, you get an entire month's supply absolutely for free. All you have to pay is $5 for shipping.
That's great.
Yeah, and if you're on the fence about this, wondering, is taking Blue Chew tablets a lot of fun? Does it give me an extra, raging boner? I can answer that for you. Yes, it's a lot of fun. Lux can answer that for you.
I second it. It's a lot of fun.
So go to bluechew.com, use the promo code STEVO, $5 for shipping, whole month for free. Now, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Jay Oakerson.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's the first podcast that I've done without either Scott Randolph or the gorgeous Paul Brisky.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope I pull my weight.
And it's also the first podcast with our new guy, TK.
What's up?
TK looks like he knows
Wait,
what
you
he's
don't
doing.
have a microphone, you stupid schmuck?
Oh, yeah, I got a Here's my microphone, yeah.
Damn, this fucking guy goes around whistling all the time. He doesn't even know he's doing it.
Yeah.
He just
He
whistles?
just whistles. It's the creepiest thing.
Are you a great whistler?
I'm a great whistler, and I'm very happy, but it's a problem to some people.
He says that I'm angry at him for carrying a tune in his heart.
Yeah, maybe. Too much joy. Also, I think when someone whistles, especially along with music, they really are trying to let you know they know the song.
Okay.
I just feel like it feels like
He's full a cappella, dude.
a cappella.
Yeah.
Nothing behind it. Just a one-man band to whistle.
Yeah,
Yep.
I could beatbox too, but you guys
Really?
do your thing, yeah.
No, I love TK.
What a
TK's
skill set.
yeah. TK's a very, very competent producer and editor.
Competent.
Yeah, he's
He's an accomplished, I thought, right?
not
Nope.
competent. He's a very, very
There's a
passable.
job to be done, and he gets it done. Do I like the way he gets it done? Not always. Son of a bitch, it gets done.
As long as he doesn't whistle.
Wendy, he's a very passable producer and editor. But yeah, man, thank you
He's
so much.
top
for
of his field at this price.
Thank you so much for doing this,
Oh,
dude.
man, thank you for having me.
What a schmuck I am. I've got this just obnoxious, fucking humongous piece of shit RV, which I wrapped in an attempt to disguise it as a tour bus. And of course he can't drive. a big ass bus into New York City.
Yeah.
So I hit you up and said, "Ah, man, hey, dude, can I get you to leave New York City to go meet me in somewhere in fucking New Jersey?"
Oh, this is the Fuck Hotel strip.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's borderline. It's because some of them are nice enough that they're considered airport hotels, like Newark airport hotels.
Okay.
But for the most part, get a hook. There's probably some lot lizards hanging out in these places. Jersey lot lizards.
Yeah.
Still have bangs.
If it wasn't bad enough that I made you drive to New Jersey to come meet me, then when you get here, I sit you down and inundate you with over an hour of video of me performing stand-up.
I enjoyed every second of that. That special was great.
Well, thanks, man.
Wild things you're willing to do.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's not even a special. That's just what I'm touring with now, and I could not be more grateful for you to have sat down and watched it.
Oh man, absolutely.
You and I did stand up together for the first time almost 12 years ago.
Yeah, Caroline's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Steve-O and friends. It was me, Will Sylvans, and I can't remember who the third person was.
Gino Bisconti.
Gino Bisconti.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Gino doesn't believe in COVID now.
Oh, yeah?
I think Gino's gone full conspiracy theory.
Well, COVID is over, isn't it?
By all accounts, I think. I mean, I'd like to hope so.
Yeah.
I flew in between trips. I did the Nashville festival last week. I did a Kid Rock comedy jam.
Oh, are you serious? Did Kid
Yeah.
Rock do comedy?
He did, yeah. So he more just hosted and did like a joke or two here and there, told a story here and there.
Wow.
It was pretty neat. Came out in a pimp cape, the big fur coat and everything. So we did all the Kid Rock stuff. He really did hilarious. I was so excited because we're supposed to do the Kid Rock comedy jam at the Ryman Auditorium where he was hosting a stand-up show, and then afterwards to go over to Kid Rock's Honky Tonk, his bar, where he was going to be part of the goddamn comedy jam. Have you ever done that with Josh Adam Myers?
I have. I never want to do it again.
No?
Not that it's
I
bad.
love it.
It's a great form of comedy. It's a great show. I'm not much for singing.
No? I don't know. I love it so much. I have so much fun doing that show. But that was happening at Kid Rock's bar afterwards. So we all did the comedy show, and we all migrate over to Kid Rock's bar. And, like, I was so excited. First of all, I had to be talked out of for weeks to not do a Kid Rock song at the comedy jam. Because they were like, he's not going to like that. And I was like, all right. So then I picked my song I was going to do, and we went to the comedy jam. Kid Rock hung out for 40 minutes tops and was gone. And the rest of the night was just a letdown. You're like, oh, I thought we were going to be doing this with Kid Rock. And he split. But it makes sense. He should have split.
Yeah.
It was at his place. He was over it.
I mean, he should have waited and come for the last 40 minutes, right? Be there at the end.
Yeah. Like I've been here the whole time. No, he hung in the back. And then I kept... it reminded me of looking like down the street for my dad's headlights when I was younger. Like, this is probably him. Nope, not him either. Oh, there's one's probably. No, because when I first thought he left, just based off the way this person was dressed, like way across the room, I was like, oh no, he's still here. As Kid Rock was wearing a trucker hat, he had 2 braids in his hair, and he was wearing like a softball T-shirt kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I stared at a guy, telling everybody who'd come over, I go, relax everyone, Kid Rock's still here. It's that guy over there. And to the point other people believed it. And then that guy made his way over. He was just some guy who was a fan of ours. Like, he was like big, and I realized what it was across the room. I thought he had sports spec glasses. It was so the opposite of Kid Rock, of how nerdy this guy was. The things I thought were his cool braids were just his dangling glasses around like the, like a camouflage, like duck hunters thing. It was in
I like Kid Rock.
his music and stuff.
I mean, I don't know if I care that much about his music. Not to put it down, and for that matter, he's the most fucking talented musician. I mean, this
plays
dude,
everything on stage.
Yeah, he walks around the stage and plays every single instrument. It's unbelievable. And then, like, One time where there was a party and he just barged up and took over the DJ booth and he was just going off, and the dude is unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to become best friends. I was going to go trumper for him, whatever he wants. He's going to sell out hard.
He's always been big on the Republican Party. I remember like doing some extracurricular partying with him for many, many hours.
Yeah.
And him just extolling the virtue of George W. Bush, who was president at the time.
Oh, okay. So he's always been on that. Well, he's just been more vocal now. I mean,
Yeah.
his new videos are fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
just take
true.
them like tongue in cheek. They're so funny.
Yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, dude, fucking the Legion of Skanks is a
Yeah.
big deal.
I hope so. It's our podcast. We've been doing that for like a little over 10 years now. We call it the most offensive podcast on earth because we thought that would save us from persecution, but nope. We thought it was getting away for a while, but no one knew who we were. Once the show started to get popular, we got plenty of the hate stuff followed up by it too.
Okay.
And some of it is awful. Yeah, it's really like
What's offensive about it?
the show. Oh, I don't think it's offensive at all. We just do like
Unless you're Corey Feldman.
unless you're Corey Feldman. That's the Bonfire. That's my Sirius XM show. We've gone to work on
Oh,
Feldman
got you.
on his music. Yeah, I feel.
I'm not gonna let you disparage Corey Feldman on my podcast.
Yeah. Oh, the guy brought his own girls to the Playboy Mansion. You know the way you do. He no, you know what it is? We actually feel terrible how much Corey Feldman actively, again, you know, when you're doing like, especially like podcasting and radio, you're in a studio, so you're just talking and like just talking to whatever, you know, and like you feel like you're talking to your buddy almost, but people are listening all over
Right.
the place. And I never dreamed in a million years we'd get back to him how much we've laughed at his music, but it did, and we have hours upon hours of it breaking down his live performances and everything. But he takes his music very seriously, so I said it bums me out every time he gets mad or there's something someone plays for us that
Right.
he was angry about us. But I mean, he says some ridiculous things, spies and whatever. My favorite thing he said on your show, which I've heard him say before, because I did when his documentary came out, I'm like, oh, we have to watch this for sure. We have to watch this. And it didn't come out the first night it was supposed to come out.
Right,
It
it
was delayed.
streamed and then it got
Yeah.
taken over
And
the
that's when he goes-
stream.
but that's what it means. He's like, he comes out now. We've streamed things live many times over Gas Digital and things like that. And you know, like, it's not a perfect system. Things go screwy and get fucked up sometimes. And that's what happened, I'm sure, clearly. But instead of just coming out and being like, hey guys, we're having problems to stream, it's always got to be like, he's like, the powers that be are coming, the circle, the choppers are surrounding us, everybody.
Right.
We only have moments left. And it's like, no one can just play the documentary, man. Like,
Right.
let's go. But, you know, it's got to be a hard thing being such like, you know, I always think that's an interesting, like, thing to watch. Have you ever met Joey Fatone?
Uh-huh.
Joey Fatone, I think, is so rad because when I first met him, it was well after, you know, it was 7-8 years ago, maybe, not even. We did the Impractical Jokers cruise ship together, and then we met a couple times since, and bullshit. But on that cruise, like, I mean, when we were smoking pot on my balcony with some friends, and just like me asking the thing, I'm like, isn't that crazy? You know, at some point, you know, there was tanks driving you guys, you know, escorting you guys from the airport to a hotel in Japan. I was like, and now, you know, you're sitting on a cruise balcony with me smoking pot. Like, isn't it? And he kind of acknowledges it and goes like, yeah, I kind of like that though, that I had that thing. And he's like, now I can, like, you know, he has money to do whatever he wants to do. He's fine. And he like understands and accepts that. I don't know if some people can do, I don't know if some people can kind of go like, yeah, well, we're not like
Right.
that level anymore. I think Corey Feldman was like huge. You know what I mean? At a
They're
time, like when he was
very
when he
big.
was young, he was huge. And I think horrible shit probably happened to him in Hollywood for sure, but none of that makes up for that music. That music is I mean, damn.
Dude, you make a good point about struggling with having been at crazy heights and that, you know, and some people are just okay with it. And
Some people just go with it. They just kind of, you know, you're able to like, some people I think may have an end game in entertainment too. You know, it's like let me make the money I can make, and then when I'm older, who needs that anymore? You know, but I think he's been, you know, Corey Feldman had an interesting thing. He was A-list for sure at a point, and then he went to like, it kind of immediately became laughable, and then he sort of had a resurgence, but I think he thought the resurgence was everyone was like, oh, we didn't know this guy can sing. They put him on that. They raked him over the coals on that Today Show performance.
Now, before this goes any further, I feel strongly about reiterating and reinforcing my eternal support for my bro, Corey Feldman. Okay? Period. I love the guy. He's my friend. Okay? I consider him to be very smooth. Just like my face. Because, dude, I use Harry's products, and I gotta tell you about them. It's like the highest quality 5-blade razor that you can get. I mean, there is no better razor, and they're so affordable. Plus, they're gonna hook you up with the starter kit, which is everything that you need. And it comes with a weighted ergonomic handle, a 5-blade razor, a killer travel cover for the razor, and, dude, it's a value of $13, which is how affordable Harry's is, but they're going to give it to you for $3 because they love the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast. All you got to do is go to harrys.com/Stevo, and for $3, you're going to get this killer weighted ergonomic handle, 5-blade razor, travel cover, comes with foaming gel. I mean, dude, I don't go anywhere without it, man, and neither should you, and you should support the podcast right now by jumping on this killer deal by going to harrys.com/Stevo. Okay, now we can talk about the legendary Today Show performance.
Because he went out there and dressed like Assassin's Creed and did, Christ knows what you want to call that performance. It was wild, with a bunch of teen runaways standing behind him, and then he was like, everyone, you know, made fun of it, and he was like, everyone said the same.
Right, of course.
Like, that was great on your show too. He's like, how can everybody have had the same hatred towards it? It's impossible. Like, no, it's not. But then when they brought him back, because it was like, oh, you know, you can almost hear them when he's like, you know, I'm gonna come back on and play another song, and they were like, oh. They're like, holy shit, dude, he's going to do it. Yeah, dude, sure, get back on here. And he's like, that's why they had to bring us back. It was the most virally watched video ever. And it's like, I don't think he gets it. Like, they're laughing at you.
Yeah.
They are. They're laughing at him. And I think that's almost like shitty. We're also doing it. But I also, more that, like, he doesn't, like, something in his world presses him forward to just be like, no, this is important music. Versus being like, also, you know, I've never, like, you know, Johnny Depp, because he's in the news so much now, always kind of fancied himself more of a musician, but he just kept A-list acting. Do you know what I mean? Like, in his mind, he's like, I'm more of a musician than a, whatever. Like, sure, I guess. But, like, he's an actor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he was a...
Well, another one, Billy Bob Thornton.
When he got mad on that radio interview?
You're not allowed to talk about his movies because he's a musician.
Oh, I heard... That was something where it was like, I think Maynard from Tool did some tour around where he's like, just the wine stuff. And he goes, are you fucking shitting me? Like, okay, I have one question. What's with the wine stuff? You can start talking to me about different vintages and stomping processes. I go, dude, please talk to me about Tool. Please, guys, talk to me about Tool.
Yeah, or at least, like, Pussifer.
So, yeah, give me a perfect circle. Just, you know, a little ditty from one of the old days. Something crazy happened with the Chinese guy playing guitar. Yeah, I think some people just do, and I think he's a guy who just is having a hard time processing. So I think in his mind he's like, I'm still, like, hugely famous, but it's like tabloid fodder now.
And, well, I fiercely back my homeboy, Corey Feldman.
Hell yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I back him also.
Right. And I back you, dude. You know, you like it.
Thank you.
You know that you've seen my tweets where I name you as.
You've always been very generous and great to me with that, man, and I appreciate that. So that means the world to me.
My favorite comedians. I've named 2 people my favorite comedians, you and Ian Edwards.
Hell yeah. Ian did my storytelling show at Moon Tower this last week. Yeah, Ian's great.
Yeah, I think I'd love to see that, like, you're, coming up.
Yeah, things
Right,
the past
you're-
couple of years have been like good. Yes, it's the broadcasting has been great.
Right.
mean,
So, how does podcasting compare to the Sirius XM radio? It seems
No rules in podcasting really with what we do. It's all it's in house. It's our podcast network.
right.
We know what we're able to put up or not put up on YouTube. So like we give like pieces of it on YouTube, but for the most part, it's a subscription service, and we give
Okay.
I think like the newest 15 are always free or something. But I always messed those things up. But it's and then Sirius is like Sirius. What I like about the radio is it's discoverable. Like people just driving in their car put on the channel randomly, and like we come on. You know what I mean? Whereas like podcasting, like you have to hear about it from somewhere. I don't think people just happen upon it.
I
Like you
wonder,
hear.
man. Like, there's so many stations on Sirius. You think people
There's
really
very few comedy talk ones.
Okay.
In the comedy thing, there's only like it's Faction Talk is us, and they have Comedy Central has pretty much gotten rid of all their talk radio now. Howard Stern, and that's really it.
Okay.
Like there's no more just like and then news stuff. But like if you're gonna go through like looking for like comedy shit, like we'll just come up. Yeah.
All right. And you spend about equal time doing podcasting in Sirius XM?
No, Sirius is 4 shows a week, 3 live and 1 pre-recorded, and then podcasting is 3 shows a week, but it's they're a little bit shorter.
Uh-huh.
The radio has to go
And-
like 2 hours.
What's bringing in more revenue for you?
Revenue? It's hard to tell because the thing is like I mean they both I guess probably Sirius XM, but at the end of the day all this stuff is and I love it. I think broadcasting scratches the same itch as comedy
Uh-huh.
in many ways, but like
It seems more like podcasting than comedy, right?
yeah, but then it comes like what it's done for me is the road, like people coming out and seeing the live comedy. That's been like the best thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're just broadcasting, you better be the best. You know what I mean? Because like there is
Right.
so much out there. Like how do you rise above if you have no name for it? So they've all helped each other. Is like me doing stand up and being able to get on the road more,
Right.
letting people know what I do and that I have. I'm surprised how many people know me from just comedy when they come out. Like they'll be like, "Oh, you have a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh.
I assumed everybody here was from the podcast or the radio show.
That's great. And you're like, I see you in the comedy clubs, the whole thing. Like, you're headlining weekends.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. Yeah, I've been running around a ton lately too. I took all those things when COVID was here, and it seemed like everything was getting canceled anyway.
What do you mean you took all those things?
I took all these gigs,
Oh,
like
gotcha.
when COVID was here, and he was like, I did that all like for the whole 2 years. They kept offering stuff like they're gonna open in May, and then in May you could have a weekend here, and then May would come, and then it wouldn't happen at all. So then eventually though. They were like, "Oh, COVID's over," and then you're like, "Oh, I have 15 weekends in a row. I have to go on the road," and they're all over the place.
Wow. What was your weirdest show that you did during the pandemic?
Oh, me and Dave Attell did one,
Some drive-in shit?
the drive-in show.
Dude.
I only did one of them, and the thing about my comedy is it's wordy. It's a lot of like long, like intricate bits that have like several things happening and long stories, and reference heavy. I do the references because I've told a lot of the comics as advice. I'm like, throw out the most ridiculous references to pop stuff from your childhood or whatever, because even though the bulk of the room won't get it, there's always like 5 people who are listening and like they get it. They're laughing and go, those people are fans for life. But you could hear those like 10, 15 laughs
Yeah.
on those things. With the car thing, at least one we did, because I've heard it's also blinking lights sometimes, but like
Blinking lights,
but the
honk the
honking,
horn.
this one was laughing, and so daunting every time they'd honk. But even worse was when I'd be like,
What do you mean daunting?
it was just like when honking historically in your mind is something bad's happening.
Right.
So you have a thing, it's like, And then I am with cum all over my face, like, You're like, it sounds like they're mad at you. Like, stop
Right.
saying that.
I know, dude.
Stop doing that.
We go down the road in this fucking obnoxious RV wrapped in steel, and everyone's like, bah, bah, bah. Like it's crazy how many people honk at the fucking RV,
Yeah.
and it feels like they're mad at me.
Yeah, it's jarring, and they're just trying
Yeah.
to be like, "We love you," and we
Right.
can't believe you. Yeah, so it's but the funniest was, I remember, I forget exactly what it was, but some kind of weird. I'm like, and the person looked like the guy who got his throat ripped out by Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, and just hear like a car going, huh? That blue Subaru gets it over there. That guy saw Roadhouse.
Yeah, especially since you're so much like a crowd work guy. Like,
Yeah, which is exactly. Nice car, people in that car. They still make Hyundai Santa Fe's? Yeah, it was. I did one and I couldn't do it. And then a lot of the outside stuff I didn't really love either. I think people it felt like people came and they didn't feel like they were part of it. I think at first everything was great because everyone was like, we're doing a comedy show now. We're being together. We're together again, even though we're outside and we're watching comedy. But very quickly it became just like people like on their phones most of the show because just outside
Right.
didn't feel like they were supposed to be like paying attention. Didn't make a big deal.
Right. Yeah, dude.
People start doing rooftop specials and shit. I'm like, what do you stop embracing this?
So, dude, let's talk about like celebrities who are celebrities for shit other than comedy.
Oh yeah, who are doing comedy now?
Yeah. Cause I mean, I just remember too, like when I first got into it, and you were like just good to me, and we worked together, and you helped me a lot. We were talking about Jason Ellis doing comedy. We love that.
Yeah.
T.I.
Yeah, he just worked with me. Yeah, T.I. though. So sometimes it's the personality though. Anyone could jump into comedy. I'm not like I've lost the bitterness of what that would cause me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I still have my bitternesses, but that is definitely not one of them. I'm like, because whatever gets you in the my reason for getting into comedy is no more noble than somebody else. You know what I mean? Like anyone gets into it for whatever reason. I just did it like younger. That's what it ends up being. You're kind of like, well, I've been in it, but it's like they did something else with their life first.
Right.
and
Have you
got
ever
to
done
that point.
comedy with? Have you ever done comedy with Jeremy Piven?
No, I haven't.
Because I've heard positive things about his comedy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his comedy at all. I mean, he's maybe I've liked him in movies and stuff. I didn't watch Entourage, but like Judgment Night, dude, he was great. He was the best character in Judgment Night. Remember that
Okay.
movie?
I do not. I don't give a fuck about movies.
Come on, dude. Judgment Night. That was. Do you care about music though?
Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess.
That was the first soundtrack for that. Was the first thing that combined like the rap rock thing. The whole album was like
Okay.
Cypress Hill and Sonic Youth together. And
Did you ever do comedy with Ron Jeremy?
Oh, I've done things that he was around. He was at the Comedy Cellar once. I think Dennis Hoff brought him and a couple of his girls, and they kind of slid in during the show. I think during Dave Attell, and like I would always the Comedy Cellar at the end of the night was always like Dave Attell then me. I spent years going after Dave Attell, which was a great school of comedy. But I think they came in to watch Attell, and Ron Jeremy has narcolepsy. Is that what it's called
Yeah.
when you fall asleep? He has narcolepsy.
Right.
And he was in the room, but no one in the audience really knew he was there at all. And I looked over when I was on stage that I saw he was asleep. I thought it was going to be awesome that Ron Jeremy was there. But the next time I got like a big laugh, like on a punchline, I was like, everybody, that joke was so funny. It murdered Ron Jeremy. And everyone's eyes just going, and like, first they get the laugh because they're like, oh, this guy looks like Ron Jeremy. And then the second burst of like, that's fucking Ron Jeremy sleeping during the show.
Dude, I hung out with him many times over the years, and I can absolutely concur. He's got narcolepsy.
Oh, yeah.
Is he in prison right now?
He's in prison, or he's in jail waiting for his like sentencing. But he's gonna get sentenced to like 200 and some years.
Dude, it's so mind-boggling.
It's wild. He looks like
Yeah,
Krampus.
TK,
He looks
you
like
don't
evil
know about
Santa.
this, huh?
I didn't know he was in jail for something.
For, dude, crazy, like, rape accusations. Like, tons of them.
Outside of work?
Yeah,
Outside of
I think so, and I think also within work. Also, do you know what he was? He's a guy that was like so used to a world. If you throw him, walk into the room with like 10 women, varying degrees of attractive, even. The ugliest one might be like, ew, Ron Jeremy, like, it's such a disgusting, awful thing. And the youngest, hottest one might be like, I'll fucking suck Ron Jeremy's dick to have the story of fucking Ron Jeremy. You know what I mean? Like, and I think he lives in a world where that approaches him so, if you have half the women that you approach, and you're like, or guys coming over like, hey, my girl wants you to suck her tits.
Yeah.
And like, he almost moved, when I saw him at least, like, zombie-ish to just do these things he's supposed to do. Like, hey, Ron, this is my wife. And he'd be like, titty grab, pussy slap, nice to meet you guys. Moving on. It was like, like a
Secret handshake.
Yeah. It was like Frank Sinatra if he was giving nut checks. He's like, hey, work in the room. Like, oh, is this your girl? Hey, is that your pussy right there? Look at that. Give it a little nipple pull.
Do you not know that he, like, at least in the past, performed stand-up comedy?
Oh, yeah. I remember that joke. We used to get, it's like, everyone says I have a big penis, but it's actually only 2 inches. 2 inches from the flua. He really had like that old, like, Catskills Jewish routine. From the flua.
So good. I remember I was like, yeah, I'm bummed about all that stuff, man, because I always liked Ron Jeremy. And
he was just putting his whole character, even in porn, became like a guy. Like, there was one I saw. I don't know why I like these two, but it was like he like comes into. I mean, it's all staged, but I mean, like, he comes into the room where these guys are making this porn with like a new girl or something, and like it's like almost like he's like checking for a show horse. He's like let me check her teeth, and almost like, but instead of that, it's just kind of like, oh, it's nice, right? He like jams a finger in her, and then he like squeezes the base of his old dead wiener and just like stuffs that tube of toothpaste in her, and you can just see her being like, yeah, I guess. Like, I guess we're doing porn. It is the thing.
what other celebrities got into comedy?
So T.I. is the newest, funniest
Yeah.
one for me, because you can't bring gangster like rap personality to comedy. It doesn't work. It's got to all be like funny. And you see the video of him with the girl.
I remember seeing something on TMZ about it, but I don't remember that there was I don't remember watching.
There was a
a
girl
video.
said something about like a legal case he has or something, and he just, instead of like laughing it off and moving on, she was making a joke. Like, he gets like mad and he snags the microphone from her, and he like sits on the stage and makes it very, very weird and uncomfortable. And it's just like, you got to be able to handle it.
What's this that
With,
I
like,
saw?
comedy.
I saw some clip of James Corden like berating the guy from Star Trek.
Just randomly? Which guy from
No,
Star
no,
Trek?
it was oh my god, the Patrick Stewart.
Really?
And they were up at a podium at some like award show or something, and he's just berating him.
James Corden?
Like
How dare
heckling him,
he?
or is he like
Yeah.
mad at him?
He was mad. He was mad. Like, yeah, James Corden. I stumbled along.
Will Smith set the bar for mad at an award show.
Yeah, he did.
Got to come. You got to bring a flamethrower
Yep.
next time to that party. That was wild.
Yeah.
I keep getting clickbaited every day that they're like Chris Rock finally speaks out about a situation, and every time it's a article from the show the night before. He came out and said, I'm all right, I'm not going to talk about the slap, and then moves on. Like, every article said, but they go, he finally addresses it, but his addressing is always like, hey, it happened, and that's all, and he moves on from it
Right.
completely. How'd you feel? I'd love to hear your opinion on what you felt when that happened.
Now, whatever I say to Big J in response to this, let's be honest, the whole world realized that when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, that we all knew Chris Rock was about to make a whole bunch of money off of it, right? I mean, I just hope the guy's got his website in order with his merch store to be selling online like anybody in their right mind would be doing in this day and age. I do it. I do really pretty well with it. And the secret to my operation is ShipStation. What is it? It's a very simple interface which takes care of all of your shipping needs to fulfill your orders when you're selling online. It takes every different way of shipping, like UPS, FedEx, like DHL, like whatever it is, brings it all into one interface. No matter how you're selling online, if it's Amazon, Etsy, your own website, brings it all into one easy interface. This is how I sell everything. It's the easiest way, and they hook you up with the best rates going. Rates that are normally saved for Fortune 500 companies. It's like the easiest, it's the cheapest, and if you're not doing it, you're out of your mind, because wake up. This is how to make money in today's world. So, to get a 60-day free trial with ShipStation, you're going to go to ShipStation.com and click the microphone at the top of the page, type in the promo code STEVO, and you're off to the races with 60 days of free, hassle-free, totally easy, totally cheap shipping. And I mean, dude, just if you're not already doing it, start. And if you are already doing it, do it more. And Chris Rock, that means you too. So one more time, ShipStation.com, hit the microphone at the top of the page, type in the promo code STEVO, and you're off to the races. Now, let's talk about slaps. I mean, I don't know that my reaction was any different than anybody else's. Like, whoa, insane. You know, like, was that even real? And then he's yelling from his seat. You realize it was real. But then you see a replay of it, and the way he kind of smiles and smirks as he turns away and walks away from having just slapped. Like that smirky smile after the, like immediately after the slap.
Yeah.
Took me back to, oh, it was fake.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was smiling because he was like, all right, this bald bitch is probably not going to give me any more shit tonight now from whatever thing, because they've had to eat. I mean, he was eating it all night for her fucking other people, mostly, or that other guy.
Oh, they're making jokes on him.
Yeah, they're making jokes about that situation.
Yeah.
And then I think he was just, you know, I said I feel bad a bit for Will Smith in this situation. Not in this, what he did was fucked up totally and like against anything I believe, especially with comedy.
Oh, dude, that makes me think of what I really wanted to.
Or have you ever had somebody, the Royers for PA, getting yanked off stage?
No.
That's what happened when everyone was like, Chris Rock. Can you imagine getting slapped on stage? I got yanked off a 8-foot stage, 10-foot high stage by my ankles, or 8-foot stage.
I remember that. Like, you got hurt?
No, thank God. I was able to like turn. Or he was yanking me. I was able to get my second foot like down. He pulled me off a stool, and I was able to get the second foot down.
It
and,
looked
get
crazy
towards
violent.
him. It was nuts. And then Lewis came behind me, and like jumped off stage.
Dragging you off stage.
Yeah,
and I was sitting on a stool, and like it wasn't. He pulled me off a stool, like I was flat, and I was able to get my second foot down to like lunge towards him, and then Lewis jumped off, and like he got the shit kicked out of him, which was great.
Oh, Lewis got the shit kicked out of him for you, or what?
No,
the guy that was doing it.
Me and Lewis were working on him, and then the fans all pulled us off, and they were like, "Don't get in trouble, we got it."
That's
like
awesome.
These guys rule.
Wow.
And then it was like a whole thing, but that was well, yeah, and I don't think Will Smith's any like more correct than that person. You know what I mean? Like than that guy was. But at the same time, I think Will Smith's just like whatever. What a weird year, man. That thing with that. He had to go sit down and talk to her on a thing. It's like, can we talk about anything in private?
Right.
Like, at all?
The red table talk.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm all for like laying out the dirty life. Especially if you're broadcasting, man, you got to give it all and tell them like the shittiest stuff and your most humiliating stuff. You don't have to, but like I come from the Stern school of like broadcasting with that, like lay it all out there. But like, yeah, like process it first. I mean, he looks shell shocked and everything she drags him on to do, Will Smith. And it's like, all right, we're gonna talk about me fucking that other guy. And he's like, okay. He just has to sit there and kind of like. And it was good, and I loved it. It felt so good. He's like, all right, I guess.
Wow, I gotta watch that.
It's sad.
That she intimidates people. The funniest thing on that red table talk, I've only seen the clips of the big things, but it was Snoop Dogg. She gets guys so rattled. Those three, the daughter, her, and her mother, at that table. Snoop Dogg, you gotta watch this clip. It's him, he's been brought to the table to talk about his use of the word bitch and stuff and degrading women in his music. And I mean, he's dressed like he had to go to like court. I mean, he's wearing like a turtleneck. He's sitting with his hands like very proper. And he is just sandbagging Tupac and throwing off guard because, like, you know, she's like, and, you know, Snoop with the calling people bitches and all this stuff. And he goes, yeah, you know, it's like, you know, like Tupac, we used to talk about that all the time, where at one point I was like, I don't feel like I should say bitch anymore. And then, but Tupac was like, you know, nah. And then she was like, yeah, I used to tell Tupac all the time, like, why do you gotta use that word all the time? And then Snoop Dogg goes, he goes, yeah, I know. It's like he'd have those beautiful songs like Dear Mama, and then the next song, he's right back to it. It's like Snoop Dogg's like saying this, like, what? But everyone just wants to get it over with her. I feel like there's like, all right, let's just
Intimidating.
Yeah, she is intimidating.
It seems like a real bummer.
G.I. Jane being the thing. I always hate that too. Sebastian Bach walked off one of my podcasts once, Zoom, so I guess he turned his camera off is what he did. He actually couldn't figure out how to do it at first, which is pretty funny. Pretty funny. But it was so ridiculous, like what he got upset for, and he walked off. I made a gay joke about Rob Halford. You know, Rob,
sure,
the singer
of
of Judas Priest. And it was again like a throwaway thing I said. It was in the moment. It was just like we're getting the bullshit with Sebastian Bach, and he was like, the only performer that doesn't need to do warm-ups, he tells me, and still has such an amazing voice is the great Rob Halford. And I was like, well, maybe it's just like gay secrets he doesn't want to tell you, like he gargles jizz or something. And he was like, yo, man, you could take that shit somewhere else. And he just was, I was like, oh, I mean, I was just kidding, you know, whatever. And he's like, fuck that. And then he turned his camera off, but he was still connected. And then, so we all know what just happened. We all know what he's trying to do, but everyone, it's crazy. All of us just going like, Sebastian, Sebastian.
Tech
And then after a while, he goes, I hear you loud and clear, man. And then he just eventually figured out how to turn it off and went away. And then Rob Halford came on the show 3 weeks later, and I told him this story, and he was like, he was awesome. He just laughed, said it was funny, like he didn't care. And but it's the same thing, like, and then all these, because it's like, you know, Sebastian Bach, Metal Injection, and all these like heavy metal websites started picking it up about how he like ran, and everything from like he ran, and it's just like they kept printing the thing, and you're like, can you please stop tying my name to this dumb fucking, it's like it became this big deal over something. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this joke. Like if I can go back in time, I just wouldn't have said that joke. It didn't mean anything to me. It was just like a throwaway thing to say. And I think it's the same with Chris Rock. Everything's going to be like the infamous G.I. Jane. Just like he just went bald-head woman, G.I. Jane, basically. And it's like that's going to live forever. It's like the joke that pissed off Will Smith. Somebody goes, it's just a bad throwaway line he had for the Oscars to not curse and whatever he had to get through, you know?
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
But what was the thing you were going to, you said?
I was curious because you're a New York comic, and then like in L.A., I felt like there was almost a divide between New York comedy and L.A. comedy, like around all the Me Too stuff. Because like
it's funny. That's what I figured out. It's not the divide. Somehow, very naturally, everybody over here on the East Coast gets called a racist, and everyone on the West Coast is a rapist. As we go, you got your rapist to the left, rapist to the right. It's well, I don't know why it is, but it really has fallen down. Everybody over here is in trouble for racist jokes, and everybody out there is like stuff with girls.
I just noticed that, like, pretty, validly, accurately, the New York comics observed that each LA comic that got in trouble in the Me Too thing, like every other LA comic just turned their back on them.
Yeah.
Like, just that person means nothing to me. Like people just drop ship
from shows, and clubs stop working with them and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like New York. We've had that though in New York. It's definitely been like if it's Ari Shaffir. He had the Kobe thing that like...
The Kobe thing I didn't think was But what bothered me more with the Ari Shaffir was the drugging Bert Kreischer.
Drugged me too.
Oh, did he?
Same thing with acid. I've never taken acid before in my life.
Oh my God, he made you take acid without knowing
In
it?
fairness to him, where he might not have known what was going on, other people on our podcast had the plan to do that to him, where me and one of my other partners, Dave Smith, on that show, had already said very firmly, like, I don't want to get in the world of that, of like dosing people and stuff. I don't want to play that game. And in fairness to what happened was, if you're going to do it to anybody, though, it should be Ari. Ari's the guy you should do. Like Ari would do it to somebody else, so you do it to Ari. And Ari's not going to get mad. He's not going to get upset by it. But I didn't know it was happening. Ari was tipped off that it was happening. So when they put the beer in front of him that was dosed, he knew it was there. I have no idea still. But he doesn't know that. He thinks that the podcast is planning to dose him. You know what I mean? So I'm the closest person to him. He just switched his beer with my beer. I drank it, not thinking a thing about it. And then what's funny was a lot of people at the table didn't know that. So when it got back to me, someone says to me, he goes, yeah, they dosed Ari. And I'm looking at Ari, and Ari is in outer space. I mean, he's looking all over the place, crazy, and like licking his lips. And then I'm upset because I'm like, oh man, no. Like, what are we doing, guys? I don't want to do this. And then Ari's like, do what? And then they told him, like, they dosed you. You're on acid right now. And he was like, oh my God, am I? He's like, or did I know it was going to happen and switch it with Big J's drink? And then me going, wait. Like, no, did you really? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, no. And then I was just bummed for 26 hours awake. That's how the rest of that went. I just sat up. That's when everyone was like, well, did you at least enjoy it for a little bit and sink into it? I was like, no. For 26 hours, I sat on my couch and was like, why would my friends do that to me? I wouldn't do that to my friends. What are friends anyway?
LSD feels like a much more aggressive dose than Molly. Yeah. But it honestly didn't hit me too bad, actually. Straight. I just felt like I was like stoned almost. It didn't. I'm bad, like drugs. I smoke weed every day, in fairness, but like any hard drugs I've taken, which would be basically Molly, mushrooms, things like that. I just never like sunk in. DMT didn't work for me. We tried DMT and it didn't work. Did DMT come along like recently, or?
I guess, and then it lasts like several years. But like everybody else that did it, there, same stuff. Was like, my chick did not enjoy it at all, but like she was like gone for 15 minutes, whatever it is, 10 minutes. I took so much of it. It was pretty funny actually, because I went last. Everybody else went already, so we do a thing where we'd go to my bed and put them in my bed, and they would take their pulls until they went down. And then they'd almost get like, hey, it's like, see you on the other side, enjoy the journey. It was this very positive thing everyone was doing, like, and we'd leave the room and they'd go through it or whatever, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes later they'd come out and they'd be like, whoa, that was wild. And then I was like, then my girlfriend went, and she went in there. She came out of the bedroom after like 4 minutes, and she was sat down on the bed or on the couch, and everyone's looking at her like, are you on it right now? And she's like, I don't like this. She's like, every time I open my eyes, I see the same thing as when they're closed, and there's no, and I don't like this at all. And she was getting upset, and I was like, her face, I almost didn't do it because I went, all right. I go, well, it's all right. You're here. You're fine. Just know it's like, it's only been like 5 minutes, and her face looked at me like it hasn't been a lifetime and a half. So like whatever it was, it felt like she was already in it for a while. And then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do it. But then she popped out of it, and even though she to this day says she hated it, she didn't want me to not do it because of her. She wanted me to like go through whatever she went through too. So she was like, when she came back, she was like, no, I'm fine. No, it was good. No, you should do it. It was good. And I'm like, you said the time it was really bad. She's like, no, it was fine. You should try it. So I went and took the same amount everybody else did and laid back, and they did it goes, all right, Major Tom, we'll see you when you come back to Earth. They're giving me all that stuff. And I'm like, okay. I take it, and they leave the room. And I'm sitting there waiting for it to happen. And I just hear kind of like snickering and laughing. And I look over the door and I just see like the fingers of like them like coming to look, peeking on me, going through it or whatever. And I was like looking at them like nothing. And then I did double the amount. I did like a whole other like 7 pulls or whatever this thing. And like I was like, it's just not working at all. I was offered ketamine. I heard your thing. You said ketamine. I got offered ketamine recently. But I'm also, again, at 44, my trying new drugs, I couldn't imagine, like, wanting to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's sort of acid. It was like, oh, you should try it at least. I'm like, I'm fine, I think. Like, if I ever...
It's not a hobby. You can't...
But I do also, I think, even when I've done Molly, over the quarantine, we did Molly a few times. And I will say, like, even with mushrooms I'm never where everybody else is. Like I'm never. Everybody else is like, you know, wrapped in a blanket or smiling or sweating or. The only thing I get mixed up is like I will talk someone's ear off. You know, like I'll tell 3 people at the party my life story. But like, besides that, I don't have like the. I've been on mushrooms, and like my phone rings and I answer it, and people are like, "How the fuck are you?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's not like.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think you have to submit to them to some degree also. Like you have to want them.
Maybe. You got a daughter, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, 19 now.
Wow.
It's bizarre.
I remember, like, when we started doing comedy, you had, like, a bit about her, and she had, like, holes in her underwear.
Yeah.
What was that from?
It was, I did it on, I don't know if I ever got it on a special or anything, but it was, she cut holes in her, she had shit stains in her underwear, I guess, or, you know, like, streaks, because she was a child. And she was embarrassed, so she cut the holes out. She's embarrassed of shitty panties, but not for walking around in crotchless underwear in front of her family. She's got to let it breathe, Pop.
It's fucking fantastic.
You don't want kids at all, huh?
God, no.
No? The whole
Fuck
idea
no.
sucks?
I mean, everything about it sucks, dude.
I did it young. Pretty young. I was 23.
You mean you did it by accident?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
How much of the population do you think would not exist if you could only achieve pregnancy on purpose?
Oh, man. It would be thinned out a lot, for sure. Yeah, this was definitely like, she's like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, whatever you want to do, I'll back it up. Like, you know, let's go. And we did it. So yeah, I was 23, so she's 19 now. So it is like, I'm surprised when I have friends who are like, you know, have babies that are like 37, 38 years old. I know it's not old at all, but like, I couldn't imagine it any other way. Like, what's great about it now is that she's 19, so it's
Right.
like she can come hang at this point. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
feel like I already got out of the woods. I'm almost 48.
Yeah. So it's like,
It's like,
you
dude.
don't want to be a 65-year-old
Right.
dad to like a teenager. It's just too much.
No.
Right. And it's like whatever was great about it, you know, like I already made it through.
Yeah. You got through this.
But the thing is, I mean,
You powered through those great times.
yeah, I just view it like this. Our parents, you know, for you and I are the same generation. Our parents, like graduating from university meant like placement in a career of their choosing.
Mhm.
And then for our generation, not so much. Like very helpful to get a university diploma, but it didn't really guarantee you anything, you know?
No.
And then for our kids, it's like, all right, that means absolutely nothing except just crippling debt.
Oh yeah, my daughter. She said she's gonna go back now, but she did the year of online college, and then came back with like I don't think I want to go to college like right now. I don't even know what I want to do or anything. And I was like, sweet, I'll stop paying for it. Like if you're not sure what you want to do.
Right.
But I like that now. She's even earlier than I thought. She's saying she wants to go back, which is great, if that's what she wants to do also. But yeah,
I mean, just the opportunity.
Like my parents were so bummed I didn't go to college. My daughter's mother is very bummed that she stopped going to college, but I'm like, just want to do something. That's all I care about.
Right.
She likes to write and draw, and she does all that
Right.
stuff. She's like more of a creative, so I'm like, do your thing as long as you like support. You know, she doesn't ask for a ton of money. I don't like support her heavy or anything. I mean, I would, but like she doesn't need me to. You know, so like she's figuring it out.
Right. I just think that like the disparity of wealth in the world today is just so just it's not cool anymore, man. Like
No. Do you also worry about? Like, passing. I know some people don't want to have kids. Are worried about passing on like the bad stuff.
Sure, my genetic
Addictive
DNA.
traits
Yeah,
or
my
anything like that.
DNA. It's like when my dad said
Family
that.
sicknesses, things like that.
Right, my dad said that as far as like alcoholism and shit, addiction, that it's like playing Russian roulette with a completely loaded gun.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's
Was your dad an alcoholic?
Nah, but on my mom's side of the family, everybody was. Yeah, I just don't like. Plus, I'm like, the world. There's enough people in the world that, go ahead and help someone who's already here. Don't create
Like adoption
a new.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I would never want it on my conscience that I created a person to struggle and
Another
fucking
society's
suffer.
burden.
Yeah, I don't know. And I want to fucking be a kid, Fuck it.
No, you want to be able to pick up and do whatever. I said I see that with my friends now. They're like touring's a much more difficult thing, or they don't want to do it as much for everything. And it's nice to be able, so I don't have to be home to make sure. Also, where it's gonna dictate where you have to live too. That's a big thing too. A lot of times, with my daughter when she was young, we had to find places that made sense for a kid to be. We couldn't be in a ramshackle shithole in the city because it's great location in the city. It was we had to live further out for that reason.
Yeah.
I think it stifled my career. Actually, it's funny. My daughter, I've told her this. I don't think it's a bad thing. Is whatever the way it happened, and that's. I'm happy. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with however it went. But I mean, for sure, when all my friends were younger, it's funny they didn't get it then, and now I have a hard time getting it now. Where I'm I'm in my 40s, and these guys are close to 40, and I'm like, hey, let's do this kind of on a whim thing, and they're like, dude, I gotta. The kid over tonight to stay in my place, or we're doing a family thing. I'm like, I'm already done that shit. But I remember, early comedy, kind of the path everyone was pushing was you do New York and get good at the clubs. You have to go out to L.A. and just be out there, make 3-4 trips a year and just kind of get into the clubs out there. And I never did that. I never went to L.A. because it was just that's a spending money trip, and I'm I can only travel when I was making, wasn't doing that well. And it was because having a kid. You couldn't be as broke as everybody else at the time when you're in comedy starting out. It's supposed to be the brokest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Figuring that out. So that was tough, but a lot of stories.
I remember at least 10 years ago, you said something that was so fucking funny at that
Caroline's.
not the Carolines, at the vegan restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And they were the waiters was oh, we have gluten free, and you were genuinely confused. You were you said what's going on? What is it with this gluten shit? 5 years ago, nobody ever heard of it. Now it's killing everybody.
It's killing everyone.
It's the funniest fucking thing. It was so true too.
I still don't fully understand what gluten is.
It's like wheat or something. I don't know.
People can't eat pizza. I know
so
that.
we got Skankfest coming up in October.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're not supposed to announce that I'm doing it, but
I do believe, you are confirmed for it.
I'm confirmed for it, but not for promotion. I mean, whatever that even means. But damn, I'm fucking stoked, dude.
It's gonna be amazing. Skankfest has been growing every year. It came out. We did our first year was a 300-person event at a small off club, the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City, Queens. And then it went to the Brooklyn Bazaar, and we started to get. That's again, like I said before, sometimes the negative press, as much as it is, it builds a positive thing in the right people that it matters for. And we had doing it in New York for the first couple years. The access we have. I mean, Gilbert Gottfried's done it pretty much every year. He was supposed to do this next one. Dave Attell always comes through for, you know what I mean? So these, and then shortly, about a year or so after Louis had all his problems, Louis C.K. had all his problems, he was hanging out at Skankfest and he went on, and it was such a cool moment to watch his face. It was really neat to see him feel oh man, everyone's okay. Not everyone thinks I'm a piece of shit and hates my guy. You know what I mean? They were so inviting them. And
I think universally the whole world thinks that that his punishment did not fit the crime.
The problem is the whole world isn't as vocal as a bunch, or shouldn't say a bunch, whatever handfuls even there are of women who are. I mean, the stuff after that, I couldn't imagine. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be. My own fat guy insecurity has stopped me from ever thinking I'd have any worry of being Me Too'd. Like, I have much more of a thing of, like, a girl. I have more stories of a girl leaving my room. Do you know what I mean? Because I was just, like, played her all the YouTube clips I could play her, laughing, and then I was like, all right, well, we'll get you out of here. And then being, like, you know, getting a message later on MySpace or whatever it was back then, like, hey, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, did you not want to fuck or something? I was like, oh, did you want to fuck? Like, you should have made that much more obvious, because I'm terrified to go, like, so, and then you go,
Right.
what are you doing? And I go, nothing. So I can't relate to Louis' thing necessarily.
Right. Do
However,
I remember correctly that he had the common decency to ask, like,
Yeah, can I
he's
jerk
like, hey,
off in front of you?
Can I jerk off? Like,
And then he'd say, like, yeah, sure. And then he would. And then they were like, that's fucked up. And then it said the power dynamic
right,
thing.
right.
That's the whole thing, the power dynamic. But it's like, I've had, like, young comics in my career, like, open mic, even level comics, like, wing pussy, because and maybe it's because they want to, like, get to know me. Maybe it's positional or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But I've never, like, I almost think the positional thing was, like, there more. Like, if I fuck, me and my girlfriend got an offer the other day. I had to explain to this girl, gorgeous. She was like, oh, Skankfest sold out in minutes, by the way, like 3,000 tickets plus. And we were like, she was like, oh, I missed out on getting Skankfest tickets. I would totally fuck you and Christine, me and my girlfriend, for Skankfest tickets. And I'm like, we would love to fuck you, but there's no way I could, like, I don't have the ego, whatever it is you need, more or less, I don't even know, to have to fuck somebody for a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just never had that. Some people do. I think.
I thought you were gonna say something totally different.
What do you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say that, like, you know, to have sex outside of my committed relationship, you know, to have,
No,
like,
that's fine.
Oh, that's fine.
No, but it was this girl was saying for the both of us anyway. She was saying to
Right.
fuck me and Christine.
Yeah, like, I don't know that the threesome thing is ever a good idea.
No.
I think it's a pretty bad idea.
We haven't had terrible
Oh, you've had
like runs with it. Oh yeah, no, we've been doing this for we've done it for years now.
Oh, so you do cool swinger stuff,
Not swinger. We don't have like a couple, but just like girl. Like, she likes girls, like, legitimately.
right?
So, like, but again, that said, though, has been, like, I said, experiments. I was like, dude, fucking lucky. It's like, it does come with its own set of problems. You're right, it does. You're not wrong in that. Like, there's
Right.
going to be an argument sometime. Not this person again, because I don't know, got a little here or there. You know what I mean? There's been, like,
Right.
fuck ups along the way for sure. But for the most part, it's been great. So the offer wasn't crazy that she made.
Right.
To me, the offer that was crazy was to go, like, I you know, it takes me almost back when I did the tours with the bands. You interviewed Jonathan Davis with Korn. And those
Yeah.
guys. When we were on the Mayhem Fest one year, this girl, gorgeous, Atlanta. I remember she was with a guy who I was just certain was her boyfriend. I was like, yeah, this is definitely her boyfriend. And he told me so quick that he wasn't her boyfriend. He's like, oh no, we're just friends, man. He's like, and then because she was kind of giving me like I'll fuck if you want to, like, take us backstage. And she was so hot that I was, like, blinded by that for a second. I was like, yeah? And she's like, yeah, I'd fuck you to go backstage. And he was like, if you will, dude. And I was
Whoa.
like, this guy. And I'm like, yeah, well, I guess come backstage. So we started walking. And when we got to the fence to go, the actual thing to go backstage, we got there. I stopped. And I was like, I'm gonna bring you guys backstage, but, like, you don't have to fuck me to come backstage. I was like, in that moment, I just felt, I was like, because, well, for one, what are they fucking you for? Also, it should hold a value of something that, like, in my mind, she's, like, selling out and just going, like, I'll let this gross guy fuck me. I don't know, it's what she was. She wasn't thinking that, because we ended up fucking later that night, like, well after she was backstage and doing everything. But, like, I get the thing right away. I'm like, oh, like, you're like, I was like, I'm this hill you got to climb to get the thing you
Right.
want. And once I feel that way, so I was like, yeah, I'd rather. And also, when you climb that hill, I'd very likely, if the prize on the other end was fantastic, you'd be like, well, she's never going to really even show a face of, like, this was awful, because she got this thing she wanted. And I was just like, backstage at a concert, spoiler alert, it's really not that awesome. You've been on big tours. It's catering. It's not even, so it's food.
She's not fucking you
it's
for a cheese platter.
showers. It's like the buses, but most of the bands are just on there. But there's really not anything happening backstage. It's that like they're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe I got to see that.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, you're gonna fuck me, and then be like, I fucked that fat guy to watch Ram Zombie's drum tech build a drum kit for a half hour. Like, fuck this thing. So I was never worried about any of the Me Too stuff. I was surprised that like it ran through L.A. those stories.
Right.
But I think it's also a world. In fairness to those guys, I don't know the truth or not truth about anybody's thing, but like I think what ran those guys. I mean, the comedy. There's nothing in New York that has the equivalent to like. People would say all the stuff of like, the porn stars every night. I mean, from back in the '80s when it was like, we interviewed Ginger Lynn and Christy Canyon not long ago, classic porn stars, and they were like, oh, in the days hanging out, you go to the Comedy Store and then you go over here, and like that world just does exist there. So. Do you know what I mean? It's like a hungrier town of like chicks trying to fuck people who are important and stuff. So I think you just get clouded by it. You just get nailed with it all the time. It probably gets like overwhelming.
maybe.
You fuck up a lot, I guess.
Man.
I've never been that good. If a hot chick's want to fuck me, I'm like, what's the angle? They're like, I don't know. I think you're attractive and really funny. You're my favorite comic or something. And you're like, yeah, but like, you know what I look like under this?
Dude, it's epic. When you got dates coming up?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. This weekend coming up, I'll be in LA for Netflix's A Joke Festival. Both shows are sold out, though. I think I'm headlining the Improv one night.
Hollywood Improv?
It's Friday night, and then Sunday night at the Improv also I'm doing my storytelling show, The Worst, which I'd love for you to do sometime. We're at a festival together.
Cool, man.
And then after that, Edmonton, Canada, comic strip.
Yep.
And which now they put you up. You know that club? You've done that club a bunch, I think. Edmonton.
The comic strip, and that's in the
West-
Edmonton Mall with
West
the
Edmonton Mall.
water park in it.
Yeah, but this is the first time. It's always been a condo club where you stay at a condo. But now I don't know if they got rid of the condo, but now it's...
I was always in a hotel there, but that's connected to the mall.
And it's themed rooms.
Right.
Yeah, I've never done it before. I'm excited to
Yeah.
go stay in like a pyramids or something, whatever the thing is. So yeah, Edmonton, Phoenix. I'm on the road every weekend. BigJComedy.com.
Yeah, BigJComedy.com. Phoenix, you're at Stand Up Live?
Yeah. I
big
love
room.
that place too. Yeah. That was a great place too during COVID too. They got
Yeah.
they got over on people there because it's like a 400-seat room, and they were doing half capacity, but they count as capacity of copper because they have the whole place.
Right.
So they were able to put all 400 people in. Every time I got on stage, I was like, this can't be legal.
Yeah. Dude, fucking gnarly COVID. So you already did BigJComedy.com.
Yes, sir.
Big J Comedy. And what about like social media and shit?
At Big Jay Oakerson on pretty much everything. And then, check out Legion of Skanks. Listen to The Bonfire on Faction Talk 103.
Good,
Hell
man.
yeah, man. This was exciting. This is a kick, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a piece of shit RV. We're hanging out on it.
I love it. The
It's,
tour bus touring is the dream, man. I've only done it with, I've made friends on every tour I've ever done on a tour bus, but like, for the most part, I've only done it with like the production crew and stuff like that. But the idea of like having like 3 or 4 of your buddies
Yeah.
on a thing is it's the best. You wake up and you're there.
You're a dude. I really believe that fucking anybody who's talking about they're on the comedy club circuit because they love doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's rough, dude, with the airports and the hotels and the fucking...
You loved, yes, it's awful. So you get paid. You don't get paid for like the show.
Right.
The show's fun. You get paid for like being at a layover at 5:30 in the morning in Minneapolis with like
Right.
45 minutes. That's the stuff that sucks.
Right.
It's such a weird job to complain about, but it's a lot.
Dude, it's no life to live.
It's-
the comedy club grind is really fucking gnarly life, and then like
Then the touring.
the
of
tour
it,
the
yeah.
tour bus. It's like, yes.
Oh yeah, well it's like a solace though in that regard without the flying. That does it ruins
The flight,
everything.
yeah. Well, at least you don't have to wear the fucking stupid mask on the plane anymore.
Not yet again.
Right, dude.
I kept sucking all that shit too. I was like, when they take the mask off in the airport, like that's probably why I haven't gotten sick for a long time. I'm gonna keep wearing the mask. And they were like, you don't have to wear it. I'm like, I'm taking this dumb thing off. This thing
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, still in the airplane, but no, not there either.
But dude, you're on your way up and fucking tour
I hope
bus.
so, man.
You know,
We'll get there. Hell yeah.
you're
We'll
gonna
park
be,
our tour buses next to each other.
dude. I love it, man. I love it, dude. I love you so much,
I
man.
love
Thank
you, too, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so
and
much.
driving to New Jersey to come here and play, you know,
course,
like
man.
a true friend, and I owe you one, man.
No,
If
not
I-
at all, man.
If there's
I owe you,
anything,
dude.
if I can, you know, if you want to get me on anything, just let me know.
I will do. Yeah. We'll have you on Bonfire again and some.
Yeah.
And
Dude, we had a
we
good
just
time.
when we're at Skankfest, man. You're gonna. I'm so excited. I think you're gonna love the vibe of it so much.
bet.
It's such a love festival.
I'm trying to
of, like,
remember what it was. We were laughing so fucking hard on the Bonfire show. There was something to do with like. It was like some chick that was on Instagram Live or something, but she was on there with like a rapper or something.
I know exactly what happened. That girl came to my show in Huntsville, Alabama, and of course made a problem in the show, and I think got removed. Yeah, it was Lil Boosie she was talking to.
Yeah.
She said, hey Boosie, and like, yeah, I remember what it was. She was trying, like, she was willing to do whatever dirty stuff he wanted, but she was a real fan of his. He was like, Boosie, remember your first album when you had a guest spot on there from that one rapper? He's like, yeah, show me your butthole. And she'd be like, and she would just do it. And she goes, do you think you're going to do another song with Lil Tay Tay anytime soon? He's like, suck on one of them titties for me. And she goes, as your rap star, she just kept asking questions.
Yeah, dude.
What
it's
a nitwit.
I remember laughing so fucking hard with you,
Yeah.
dude. And we got to do it again.
Absolutely, man.
All right,
I love you,
dog.
brother.
Love you too, man. Thank you. Yeah, dude. Now, can I give some love to my man TK? I mean, he's a whistler. He's, you know, like, he's my guy. Love TK, dude. And I think TK did a great job. So please, everybody, I want Big J to feel the love. So let's please let Big Jay Oakerson feel the love. And I hope you feel how much love I have for you, my wonderful, glorious street team, for sticking around to the end of the podcast. And I'm like totally not kidding about how seriously, how deeply I boned Lux last night. So yeah, I love you all. Thank you.